Hi guys. I just learned that the new patch is out, and I actually just did a video, and it's already like 2 in the morning, but what the hell, we're just gonna do another one. So I'm gonna do one of those first impressions videos about the new patch, and I don't know how, it's probably not as big as the previous one, so I'm just gonna go through it fairly quickly and then focus on whatever I think is good or bad for junglers. So let's look at it. So general, reworked, ranked, all pick. Before the picking phase begins, there is a 15-second voting phase to ban heroes. Each player votes for a different heroes. Afterwards, half of the heroes that were voted will be randomly selected and banned. Wow, so there's kind of ban system in all picks, so you can't just go into all pick mode and just pick the same hero again and again every game. Alright. Each team has a scan ability available on the minimap. Scans are targeted 900 AoE for 8 seconds, indicate whether there are enemy heroes in that area during the 8 seconds. Seriously? Starts on cooldown and has global team-wide cooldown of 4.5 minutes. Note does not consider units inside the Roshan pit, but does consider smoked units. Does not consider how many heroes there are, just if there are enemies. Enemies do not know when your team casts it. Okay, so this is a game changer. This is, I'm not sure I like this. This is really... Why? Why would they do that? I guess it's one of those things like, I don't know, like the bounty rune and everything. You just have to get used to it and then it's fine. But it seems weird though. I mean, yeah, I guess it rewards people with good game sense that they can just... alright, I think the enemy is there, so I'm just gonna check. Oh, okay, yeah, I was right. Cool, let's not go there. Oh, let's wrap around and kill them or something. Okay, well, we're gonna have to see that in action, I guess. Starting HP increased a little bit more. It's a trend, it seems. HP per strength increased from 19 to 20, okay. Hero-based mana increased from 0 to 50. Aha. This is interesting though. I mean, the extra 20 HP there doesn't really make a difference, but these 50 mana points, this makes all the difference in the world. The first thing that comes to mind right now is junglers. It's like Enigma, it's like Cuddle. Those heroes that are really struggling with the mana pool in the jungle to begin with. This is like a big buff right there. I mean, alright, 50 mana might not be that much on intelligence heroes, but it's something. It's something. It would mean that you probably don't need that extra branch, or you can wait a little bit with that clarity, or you don't even need a clarity, depending on what hero you'll jungle on. I think I've been juggling a lot of Enigma lately, and I've been struggling a little bit with mana. I do some weird shit, so I think this is helpful, honestly. Mana per int reduced from there we go. Mana per intelligence reduced from 13 to 12. Okay, well, so now we have to do math, because then maybe it's not even a buff, because you start with like what, 20 int or something, depending on what hero it is. So does that mean you actually have less mana now than you have to begin with? I think we need to read all of this. Intelligence now increases your spell damage by 1% per 16 intelligence. I have never played League of Legends in my life, but I'm pretty sure, some of my friends do, I'm pretty sure this is sort of how it works, that you can go full intelligence and get some more spell damage based on a lot of different things. It seems like Dota is taking some parts from League of Legends and Honor and introducing that. It's just like we did with the bounty rune, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Stats: hover over your hero and now shows your total spell amplification, including Netherlands. Oh, that's good. I like that. It's so annoying you don't like if people are putting debuffs on you and you actually don't know how screwed you are when people are coming at you with magic damage. Okay, so it's just a convenience. Lane creeps health upgrade increased from 10 to 12. Okay, fine. Tier 2 towers now deal the same damage as Tier 3 towers. That is... I guess the Tier 3 towers still have the uphill advantage, so it's still gonna be a way bigger obstacle. But it's obviously just meant to slow down the pushes a little bit. It's fine. Towers now grant armor. Okay, towers now grant an armor aura to allied heroes. Okay. Tower true side range reduced. Alright. So if you're defending a tower, if you're under the... How much armor? Tier 1 grants 1 armor, Tier 2, 3, 4 grants 3 armor. So already the Tier 2 tower grants you 3 armor in a... How big is the AoE, I wonder? Well, it doesn't say. Just grants an armor aura to allied heroes. It doesn't say how big the AoE of the aura is. But okay. Initial bounty rune no longer gives experience. Yes, that's a good thing. Melee heroes attack range increased from 120 to 150. Okay. Lane creeps aggro duration increased from 2 to 2.5. Aggro duration. Lane creeps aggro cooldown increased from 2 to 2.5. Why would they make that change? What is the purpose? Well. Melee creep, gold bounty reduced. So it seems like it's harder to kill the creeps in the lane, and they also get less gold. I wonder if the same is gonna happen to the jungle then. Usually it goes hand in hand, those two things. Melee and range creep, gold bounty, upgrade over time increased from 1 to 2. Okay. Melee creep's experience reduced, but then range creep experience increased. Experience required to get to level 8 and 9 rescaled. Okay. Ethereal now blocks in-flight attacks projectiles fully, rather than just one launched before Ethereal. What? Ethereal now blocks in-flight attack projectiles fully, rather than just once launched before Ethereal. Oh, okay, I see. It's basically a bug fix. Evasion now uses pseudo-random distribution. Yeah. It's I think it's a trend, like in the good old days it was like sometimes you got really lucky with Axe, sometimes you got really unlucky with Axe and with Void bashes and everything, and once just slowly over every patch it seems like everything is gonna be pseudo-random. I think everything is gonna be pseudo-random in the end. Pseudo-random means it's less based on you can't just spin 10 times in a row and then not spin. It's distributed a little more evenly, so you can better account for when you are spinning or for when you are missing attack, or it's a little more reliable even though it's still random. Evasion now is calculated on impact rather than launch. Yeah, okay. Centaur cursor health reduced. Really? Centaur cursor health reduced from 550 to 350. Centaur cursor armor reduced by 1. Ah, there we go. The large centaur now spawns 2 centaur cursor instead of 1. Instead of 1. When did they ever spawn 1? The large centaur camp. Oh, that's what they mean. The large centaur camp now spawns 2 centaur cursors instead of 1. Okay, so you have... Alright, so it's actually... it's harder to deal with this camp now, that's what it means. Okay. That is a big deal. So there we go. It's a little bit nerfed to get gold on the lane, at least to begin with, and then it gets better as the game progresses. But this is a nerf to the jungle right there. I think it depends how much XP these little guys give. It seems like they're giving the same XP, so maybe there's some opportunity there after all. Roshan magic resistance reduced from 75 to 55. Roshan HP increased from Roshan experience bounty changed from... Okay. Basically, it's easier to kill Roshan with spells than it was before. I don't think it matters. You never really use your spells to that heavily damage. Not really. It's mostly physical. It's mostly Medallion doing the work and minus armor and stuff like that. And it will be still. Double damage and haste no longer have special rules for being dispelled by spell immunity. So does that mean you don't dispel your freaking DD if you get eels or... The following buffs are now purchasable. I'm still wondering, if you get tornadoed or eelsed while you have a haste, does it still... It has nothing to do with spell immunity though, does it? I think it only interacts with repel or BKB and stuff like that. Yeah, that must be it. So from what I understand, I think you still lose your haste if you get thrown up into the air somehow. The following buffs are now purchasable: Nightmare, Spawn Spiderlings, Manifest, Cold Snap, Corrosive Skin, and Leap movement speed buff. So the big one here, I think, is Corrosive Skin. You can purge Corrosive Skin. Well, okay, so you just purge. You can't get rid of his Corrosive Skin. You can just purge your own damage buff. So okay, I guess that's what it means. It has to be. The other one wouldn't make sense at all. Okay, so if you're killing a Viper and you're getting that scenario that you're almost dying from the Corrosive Skin, then they can purge yourself and you can get away with 0 HP. Okay. The fact that you can purge Nightmare I think that could be a big deal, because sometimes the enemy is doing this defensive Nightmare on them and you have nothing to really trigger the Nightmare, and then, well, now you can just purge him and kill him instead of having to wait for that long, otherwise you'll take the Nightmare and stuff like that. Mana adjustments to cast range mechanics to reduce overly long cast ranges when the target's moving quickly. Right. I guess they are adjusting this because they also are making melee heroes attack from a slightly longer range. Is that why? Oh, this is too much late in the night. Illusions now benefit from damage block. So Vanguard, Illusion, Naga, Vanguard. Oh. I wonder if it's still percentage based, or if they get the whole damage block benefit from a Vanguard. Captain's mode pick, some changes. I'm not gonna go into that. Removed strong armor type and moved affected units to soft type which is now renamed to basic type. See, this is also in the category of stuff we are not going to go into tonight. Roshan armor, okay, yeah. Okay, there we go. Dark Troll Summoner, attack type from Pierce to Hero. Thunderhide, attack type from Dark Troll Summoner, damage reduced, thank you. Thunderhide attack, damage reduced. I don't know why they would nerf. I understand the trolls, they're freaking annoying, but why the Thunderhide? It's fine. I don't know what that's about. Harpy Stormcrafter mana pool reduced. So that's for those of you enchantresses out there who keeps stealing the harpies just to throw him on the enemy lane. Just spam that chain lightning and somebody really ruined his day. Zeta Summoner mana pool is the same. It's basically slight enchantress nerfs for people who likes to be really annoying with enchantress. Now, what I was thinking here is there is this bug in Dota that when you're jungling in Enigma and you're dealing with the troll camp in the very first camp, you can attack him and then spawn your Eidolons at the very millisecond the hit attacks him. So this way he doesn't make the skeletons. I wonder if this is somehow getting fixed by the change of attack type, or if this is still gonna be a bug that you can exploit as a jungler. I think it's still gonna be a bug. We'll see. Terrain is also pretty important for jungling, so we better read this. Adjusted the position of the bottom Radiant Tier 2 tower nearby trees. I will have to see this for myself. Move the ramp between the secret sides further back and a little bit narrower. Increase the width of the ramp behind the ready. Added the new ramp, more ramp. Added a new ramp to the left of the bottom Dire Tier 1 tower. Added the ward spot. Adjusted the spawn box in the middle of. Adjusted the spawn box of the rightmost Radiant hard camp near the safe lane. What was wrong with that spawn box? That was in my opinion one of the normal spawn boxes. The other spawn boxes you can abuse like crazy. If you cut down trees, you can just stand right behind the camp and they will still spawn. I don't know what that's about. Alright. Tier 3 towers Rex moves slightly back from the ramp. Okay. It's harder to go high ground, is that it? You can't just siege from a distance with stupid heroes with long range and a lot of damage, and I don't know. Alright. Adjusted the Duke path in the clump of trees to the left of the Dire Tier 1 tower in the area closest to the ramp. Again, I would have to see these changes to actually know what the hell they mean. But it seems like they are still making some changes to the map. There was a big map change in the last patch, so they're still adjusting. So what this is gonna mean for jungling, I'll have to test that to figure that out. Moved Radiant mid creep spawn point back a little. Remove the tree on the dire cliff right above the top rune. What is the purpose of that? Is that so it's easier to see? I think it's just because people were warding that spot, and then they got really annoyed because if they were warding slightly wrong, then the ward would not see what was going on behind that tree, and that's really annoying. So, alright, so if you're jungling in that specific camp on Dire and the Radiant already warded there, then now for sure you're gonna be spotted. Well, you were spotted before, but now they can see a little more than they could before. I think this is what it means. Wow. Okay. Added 2 extra trees. Where was I? Yeah, remove that tree. And added 2 extra trees on the radiant middle lane to the upper. I don't know what's going on with these people and trees. Rearrange the clump of trees below the far radiant hard camp to modify visibility lines for heroes nearby. I will have to see this. Added a new hiding spot to the right of the dire small camp. Will this affect choke punk jungling? This one. Will this affect choke punk jungling? I wonder. Oh, we'll see. Fixed radiant offlane. Neutral camp units not always being visible with line of sight in front of them. Okay. We have some new items. What do we have here? We have Bloodthorn. Formed from Orchid, Crystallis and a recipe. So this is gonna be, yeah, 7,200, very expensive. 25 intelligence, 30 attack speed, 60 damage, 150 mana regeneration. Active, all attack on the silenced target, including from allies, gain true strike and deal critical strike. So all attack will deal critical strike. Seriously? So it still applies the same silence as Orchid, but all of the attack will crit. That's kind of cool. All attack on silence included from allies. Why from allies? Oh, in case you have Windows Curse or something. Gain true strike and critical strike. So if you are a Clinks against a Phantom Assassin, you don't even have to get MKB. You could just get a bunch of damage and just kill her while she's orchided. I think that's what it means. You get true strike as long as he's silenced. And the cooldown is reduced. Orchid cooldown is 18 and this cooldown is only 11. And the critical strike is the same. So yeah, it's another way to not having to buy MKB, I guess. That's pretty much what it is. But I will say it is freaking expensive. So if you have 7,200 to buy this item, then you know it's almost the same as Orchid MKB anyway. But it is a useful item. I mean, if you want to go for that snipe, you're screwed if that target BKBs though, right? Because then it won't be silenced anymore, and then I will guess that you lose whatever true strike you have, because it says here that all attacks on the silent target will have true strike and crit. So I guess you just get a BKB and just completely counter this item, right? That would be my guess. Echo Saber. Oblivion Staff, Ogre Club. 10 strength, 10 intelligence, 10 attack speed, 15 damage, 75 mana regeneration. Passive causes melee attacks to attack twice in quick succession. Your double attack applies a 1.6 second 100% movement speed attack speed slow. It has 5 seconds cooldown. Note, the passive only works on melee heroes. Okay. So this is like a Germinate attack with 5 seconds cooldown. That slows, but only on melee heroes. It would be way too broken if this was on ranged heroes for sure. Yeah. Seems good. In ability draft, Geometric attack is a lot of fun, and you can do some crazy shit with it. I wonder, is there any melee heroes that have a lot of damage? Because I think you'll just attack really quickly twice, and if you have like a ton of damage on that here, like Sven for example, you could just walk in there and I guess it doesn't work on cleave targets obviously, but if you hit the target and you have this item on Sven, you just poke him twice and then he's in trouble. Like Phantom Assassin can already attack pretty fast, so I guess you won't get the full benefit from this, but yeah. Yeah, seems good. Brightstone. 300 gold, passive reduced armor by 2 on attack. Passive reduce armor by 2 on attack. Whose armor? Your own armor? The target's armor? It gotta be the target's armor, right? Available on side shop. Yeah, you use it for Medallion and Desolator. Okay, so obviously it's the armor of the whatever unit you're attacking. So it's like a mini Desolator for 300, which you use to make Desolator and Medallion. It's just instead of the recipe. I don't think the 2 armor makes that big of a difference. I think you would still get the 2 Mithril Hammers for Desolator in any way. I don't think you get this first. Desolator does more damage. You still get Desolator in fair early game, so the armor doesn't really count. It's only 2 armor. It's not that much. Yeah. Infused Raindrops. New consumable item. Alright, so this is something we could consider for junglers, I guess. 225 provides 0.85 mana regeneration. Passive comes at 5 charges. The item is destroyed when it reaches 0 charges. When you receive over 50 magic damage, it procs, consuming a charge and blocking 120 magic damage. The proc has a 4-second cooldown. Alright, so this got nothing to do with junglers, but this is like... wow. Why is it actually called a consumable item? You can't consume it, can you? No, I don't think so. So, it's taking a lot... It's like a defensive measure, but... Well, you're not really consuming it. It's like your enemy that is hitting you and proccing it. I wouldn't call it a consumable item. It's definitely got nothing to do with jungling, this one. Windlands. Also 225. Provides 20 movement speed. Available in chat shop. This is useful. There's some heroes that really want the move speed. And there's only 225 for 20 moves. This is pretty good. Like, it's a little bit of an extra half of a boots of speed. Like Enchantress, just get this thing and a boots of speed, and you'll never catch her. She'll be running around with what is that? 400 movement speed. 3, 4, 5 minutes into the game. Pretty sweet. You can even buy this without ever upgrading it. Just the 20 movement speed is fine on some heroes. You don't even have to make it into drums, but on Enchantress you might as well make it into drums. Usually you do offlane Enchantress face drums into Dragonlance Scepter. Multiple instances does not stack. Yeah, that's that would be fun though. So, Tomb of Knowledge. 150 gold grants experience. Grants you 425 experience. Starts out of stock. But you'll get him after 10 minutes. First of all, I don't like that they are cheating with experience. If you have some underfarm support, you need to play differently. It's yeah. It must be for the supports, right? It's not like you're gaining a level, you're just gaining experience. It's more useful on this really, if you really have this support that really sacrificed himself the whole game and got nothing, like PPD style, and then all of a sudden you can catch up a little bit for 150 gold. Well, I guess you will do that. It's for 100, even 10 minutes into the game, 425 experience. It's worth getting for 150 gold, for sure. If you're underfarmed. If you are already at that point, level 8, 9, 10, then I don't think it's that important. But if you're behind at levels, this is a really good item. And I don't like it. You shouldn't be able to cheat with experience. It doesn't feel like Dota. Shuriken Pike. New item form from 4-staff Dragonlance and a recipe. So this is also some, 300 gold, it's not that great. So, 20 agility, 15 strength, 10 intelligence, some HP regeneration, and you still get the ranged attack range increase. So, active, when used on an enemy, it pushes you both away from each other, 450 units each, and allows you to attack that target without range restriction for 4 attacks for a maximum of 5 seconds. Well, Enchantress, go. Does not give the vision over the enemy. Works normally like 4-staff when used on self or allies. Oh dear god. Okay, so even easier to kite melee hard-hitting heroes now, I guess. And more stuff that Enchantress can do, I guess. Any other heroes this would be good on? Like Drow Ranger, for example. But the thing is, then you have to actually get a 4-staff on Drow Ranger. You wouldn't really do that. You do it on Enchantress. That would be legit. Cast range 400 on enemies, 800 on allies. So that's the same as 4-staff, I think. Item changes. Yeah, so basically if this melee badass comes at you, you can just push him away and you'll do this. I can only assume it's like away from each other. So because otherwise you would push yourself into the direction of his team. So what if a phantom assassin attacks you and comes at, or a Ricky comes at you from a backstab from behind, and you just panic and you put this on him, and then all of a sudden you pushed yourself into the enemy team actually. Maybe it could backfire like that. Maybe you can actually get in trouble if a Ricky comes at you from behind. Something like that. Yeah. I don't know if it's good. I mean, if that's an area, then it would be better to just have a 4-staff, wouldn't it? Because that can get you out more reliably than this thing. You could get in trouble with this thing, I think, if I'm understanding it correctly. Alright. Skull Basher. Bash damage reduced from 120 to 85. Recipe cost reduced from 1000 to 750. Okay. So there's probably some changes. What about the Abyssal Blade then? Now requires a Vanguard. What? So, previously provided 70 damage, 10 strength. Now provides a lot more HP. What about the damage there? It's not a damage item anymore? Abyssal Blade? Before it was 70 damage, what do we get now? We get a Vanguard stats, damage block. Overwhelming mana is reduced, overwhelming cooldown is reduced, bash damage reduced. So this is an entirely new item now. You don't really buy this because of the damage now. You only get it for the bash ability. It practically doesn't do that much damage anymore. Only 10 damage for an item that costs 6,400. That is not a lot. That seems completely weird. It seems bad, but I guess if you really need that Vanguard, you can go somewhere with it. What heroes would normally really get Vanguard and then go into Abyssal Blade? I guess now that Vanguard works on... If Vanguard works on illusions, then maybe there are some other heroes this could see play for. Like, would you ever get Abyssal Blade on a Terror Blade? No, really? With illusion-based heroes, you don't really normally want to get the Abyssal Blade unless you're like an anti-mage. Maybe anti-mage Vanguard? Nah, that's not gonna happen. I don't know. I guess there's so many items that actually gives damage. Maybe it's a good thing they're doing it. It's pushing Abyssal Blade in an entirely different direction. It's more like a tactical thing for maybe even a support hero to actually have the thing that can interrupt the other guy's BKB. It's more like that usage of a Abyssal Blade. I'm not even sure that the hard carry would go for this. It's just no damage. The only hard carry that would go for this is somebody who already attacks freakishly fast. It almost seems like a support item to me now. Aetherland's spell amplification reduced from 8 to 5. Fine, was a little bit too good. 8 to 5. Yeah, maybe that's gonna make a difference. Is that the little bit of difference is gonna make for a Zeus? Because when you have Zeus and you have Aetherlands, you have this epic point in the game where you can just use your Arc Lightning, I think 3 times, and then you get the range creep as well. Maybe this is gonna... No, not the range creep, I mean all the creep. Maybe this is gonna make a little bit of a difference there. Combined with the fact that the creeps got just a little more HP. Maybe it's a little bit of a nerf to Zeus. Somehow. It's not a lot though. Courier. Respawn time reduced from 140 to 120. Yeah. Unholy Strength now gains armor. Armlet provides 5 armor. This is increased to 10 while active. So this is obviously very good for Armlet for Mordigan. Because you're really counting on that little bit of HP to keep you alive. So if you get more usage out of that HP through more armor, then it's good. I don't think it changes the item that much. Blade Mail now returns damage before any kind of reduction and returns it in the same type as it was received. No longer ignore spell immune targets. So if somebody comes at you with Alina, who is in BKB and Laguna Blade you, she will still take the Laguna Blade damage, isn't it? Isn't that what it means? Now return damage before any kind of reduction and returns it in the same type as it was received. I think that's what it means. No longer ignore spell immune enemies. Bloodstone initial charges increased from 8 to 12. Fine. Storm Spirit is still... well, we haven't seen him yet, but he's still been nerfed to the ground, so it's not like he's got that much use for it. So Butterfly Flutter reduced cooldown from 35 to 25. Crimson Guard cooldown reduced. HP generation increased by 2. See Vanguard change. Yeah, okay. Desolator now requires, yeah, we know that. Diffusal Blade Purge cooldown increased from 0 to 2. Thank you. That is good. That was so annoying. You couldn't run away from a guy who just purchased the Ethereal Blade. And then Ghost Scepter, he just you searched, now he just freaking diffused it. So this is a little bit of a nerf needed to the Diffusal Blade. It was so frustrating, you just couldn't do anything. It was better than Hex almost. Mana burn by melee range solutions reduced from 25 to 12. That's what, reduced a lot. Why? Mana burn by melee range heroes increased. Alright, so you can't just throw your illusions at somebody, now you actually have to hit them. This is a big deal, I think. This is a big nerf to illusion heroes in general, because you don't want to hit people with your face, you want to hit them with illusion, you want to split push. And be just a pain in the behind. Kind of. Right? You don't really... Okay, so yeah, big nerfs to the Diffusal Blade, I guess. Dragonlance now requires Ogre Club and 2 Band Up Elven Skin. So same cost, isn't it? Instead of quarterstaff? Well, basically same cost. Previously provided strength. Oh, so now it gains. Now it's more agility as well. Okay. Yeah. So I guess bad news for Enchantress, because she can't really use the agility that effectively early in the game compared to what she would otherwise get. Like, well, she'll still get the attack speed, and she'll still get. Maybe it doesn't matter that much. Yeah, she wouldn't get the damage though, because... Yeah. Drum of Endurance now requires Bracer, Ring of Regeneration, Windlands, and a 700 recipe. Ring of Regeneration for our drums. And that new Lin Windlands thing. And it provides a little bit of the same, but just according to the components, I guess. Yield Scepter of Divinity. Oh my goodness. Yield Scepter now requires Windlands instead of Sage Masks. Yeah, that's what. But does it also give less mana regeneration in the long run? No? It's the same? Okay. Flying Courier reduced from 200 to 150. So nobody can be like, yo, I don't have money to upgrade the Courier. True Sight radius reduced from 1100 to 900. Gem of True Sight is not really viable in teamfights anymore almost. The other guy, they can see you before you can see them with the True Sight. 900 is not a lot. It's not a lot. Ghost Form cooldown reduced from 30 to 25, alright. Glimmer Cape. Mana cost reduced from... Okay, so they're buffing it a little bit again. Guarding Greaves recipe from 1650 to 700. 1700. Doesn't matter. Strength bonus increased from... They keep buffing this Heart of Tarask. Oh my goodness. 45 strength. Oh, but they're reducing the health. Ah. And how much strength does a health? How much health does one strength give now? I think they changed that in the beginning, didn't they? Wasn't it from 19 to 20 or something? HP per strength from 19 to 20, yeah. So Dota is practically asking me to do math in 3 in the morning. That's great. Okay. So that's 100 HP you get, and you lose 50 HP. So you get 50 HP, I think. Heaven's Halberd, disarm duration on ranged targets increased from 4.5 to 5.5. Okay, fine. The heart, I guess, buff. It's not that big of a deal, is it? I think you still want to go Skadi over this regardless. But it's good that they're buffing the heart. It's always so awkward to go for a heart because they're just better alternatives, it feels like. The the 45 strength is kind of interesting, right? Because a little bit of synergy with like Centaurs, for example, that benefits more from strength than actual HP, raw HP. It's like 5 more damage to strength heroes. I guess Sven will like this because his ulti is based off of your base strength. Yeah. Okay. Well, Hood of Defiance removed 1 Ring of Regen from Hood of Defiance, just like that. So it got cheaper, Hood of Defiance. It got 350 gold cheaper. And you still have that new block ability. You could just get this hood on lane. It's so cheap. I was almost inclined to do that already. Just get this hood on lane. If somebody ganks you, alright, I have the spell shield to block. And I have the HP to sustain myself in lane. On some heroes, obviously, you won't do it on like a freaking anti-mage, but on some heroes you could just do it, and then if people gank you, you can just activate the barrier. It's a really cheap item. Okay. Lincoln Sphere recipe reduced a lot, like 325 reduction on the Lincoln Sphere recipe. Is that because there's so freaking many items in the game that just procs it now, maybe? I don't know. Why it's not seeing play? Is it because Weaver, Morphling, typical Lincoln heroes is not really there right now? It seems like a lot. Only 1,000 gold for Lincoln's recipe. It's not bad. Lotus Orb now requires energy booster instead of 900 gold recipe. Alright. HP regeneration increased from 5 to 10. No, what? From 5 to 6? Lol. Yeah. Not much of a difference, I guess. I guess if you... The difference to the Lotus Orb here is for people who likes to build up with arcane boots. You can no matter what you get in this game, you can almost just always go for arcane boots, and you can disassemble it, then make the energy booster build something. It's pretty good. It's a better build up when you're allowed to go for this option to just have arcane boots. Everybody should have arcane boots, it seems. Mask of Madness active damage amplification reduced from 30% to 25%. I don't think it's not the buff Mask of Madness needed. The reason Mask of Madness is out of the game is because you can't jungle farm with it anymore because of the reduction of the movement speed and the attack speed. That there was this nerf a few patches ago. Like I used to jungle Drow Ranger with the Mask of Madness. They were freaking beautiful. They were so fast, and now it's just not worth it. You just go for Dominator all the time. Mask of Madness is mostly for, at least it used to be for boosting your farming capabilities in the jungle, especially in ranged heroes. Now it's still not good enough. I don't think this is gonna make a lot of a difference. Those 5% is not much of a difference. You can get him on Ursa, but Ursa doesn't need it. He got like the broken enrage ulti anyway. 5% is not gonna do a difference on him. I haven't seen a Void get Mask of Madness in a long time. Medallion of Courage now requires Brightstone instead of Recipe. Oh yeah, and that was the same cost, I think. Observer Wards gold experience rescaled from 50 to 100 to 125. So that's basically more goldless experience. It seems like a theme, doesn't it? It seems like they are more careful about how they give away XP, except for that freaking dumb item that just, alright, I'll just eat this item and get XP for no reason. Yeah. I don't know what their thinking is. I don't know if there's a reason behind the madness. Restock interval reduced from 180 to 150 seconds. Cost reduced from 75 to 65. Alright. These three changes are all adjusted in the same proportion. What? Oh. That took me way too long to figure out what it meant. Alright, so basically because it provides vision for a shorter period of time, then the cost is also reduced and the restock interval is also reduced, so it makes sense. You just have to buy wards more often. It's basically the same item, Jesus Christ. Alright. Except for the gold experience shenanigans, that's still the same weird thing. I don't know. No longer provides HP regeneration. Octarine Core. Mana regeneration reduced. Oh, okay, so yeah, from 100 to 50. So basic nerf to the Octarine Core. Perseverance slightly better, from 5 to 6. So your Perseverance is better. You can get an Arcane Boot. So Lotus Orb is a better build-up, it seems. Removed Pipe of Insight Barrier. Stack limit duration. HP regeneration up to, okay, so HP regeneration updated to match Ring of Health and Hood changes. Ring of Health changes? Oh, we haven't gotten to that yet. Okay. Yeah. So, stack limit duration. Does this mean you can have a team of 5 people buying pipes and you can just make fun of the tinker or the cuttle that tries to defend the base? Is that what's happening here? I don't know. It's definitely a buff to pipe, and it seems the biggest buff is still that you could get it so early from the secret shop, like, and you can have the barrier. It's not even a bad item to go for as the very first item. I'm talking about Hood of Defiance, because it used to be that it wasn't worth it because alright, you can get some HP regen, but the magic resistance doesn't matter that much early in the game when you don't really have a base HP pool to work with. But now with this barrier change and the fact that it is so freaking cheap, this Hood of Defiance, now it's actually an item, I guess. And you can high ground with a bunch of pipes against heavy magic damage, defenders, like, yeah, cuddle, basically. Yeah. And a lot of others, I guess. Cuddle is just the first one that came to mind. Point booster, health bonus reduced from 200 to 175, and mana bonus increased from 150 to 175. So you lose a little bit of health, you get a little bit of mana, and it actually makes sense, and just because why would a point booster give a little more HP than it would mana? It should be a mixture of the two. So that's the good news. The bad news is I think the HP is why you would buy the point booster first. Why it's such a good item, because the HP it's just a little more valuable than that mana in most cases. So does this mean that you actually get Ogre Club before point booster now when you go for Aghanim Scepter? It might mean that. Because strength also gives a little more. Oh, it's so nice to change this to 20, because now it's a lot easier to actually do math at 3 in the morning. That's great. So, Ogre Club, 10 strength, obviously gives 200 HP, and this will give you 175 HP. So yeah, we've reached the point where, well, you probably still get point booster before anyway. I don't think that last 25 HP is that big of a difference. Oh, well, granted, the Ogre Club is cheaper, and for strength heroes it does give you the bonus attack value as well, but yeah. It's definitely a nerf to point booster, so you won't see people just getting this value point booster in their inventory and just hold it for later, I think. Refresher Orb. Refresher HP regeneration increased from 10 to 12. Okay. Ring of Aquila. Armor reduced from 3 to 2. Wow. Only the aura gives armor now. Okay. Damage increased from 9 to 10. That doesn't matter. You get it because of the armor, especially when you're jungling. The armor is important. So the item is... Now I think it's just not worth it to get it in the jungle. And I think the stout shield in any case now is better, and into a poor man's shield if you're agility. And that will always be the better choice to go for now, I think. Not sure though. It is a nerf, definitely. One damage is nothing compared to 1 armor. I would take 1 armor any day. And there we have to change that ties this all together. Ring of Health, regeneration increased from 5 to 6. Okay. Ring of Regen, cost reduced from 350 to 325. So Hood of Defiance is even cheaper still, because you only need 1 Ring of Regen, and the other Ring of Regen is 25 cheaper. Okay. Rod of Aetos removed chance to true strike on the target. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's basically a nerf, yeah. So is that because that the Orchid will be the one that just silences and true strikes you? I don't know. Can still be countered with BKB and amongst other stuff though. The Orchid, I mean, well, also the Aetos. Sanction Meme chance increased from 15 to 20. Meme slow reduced from 20 to 20 and 10. So okay, so it's better for melee heroes and it works worse for range. That actually does make a lot of sense. So maybe it's not that good of an item to go for on these ranged heroes that like Gyrocopter and stuff. Well, I guess it doesn't matter that much, does it? Obviously, it's better to get on melee now, like It's good news for if your Juggernaut likes to go for Sanction Yasha, or if you're Lifestealer, or whoever likes to go Sanction Yasha as a melee hero. And speaking of Sanction Yasha, the meme change is increased from 16 to 30. Meme slow reduced from 32. Okay, so it's the same pattern again. It's better for melee heroes, but it's a lot more. It's more likely to slow. It just slows for less if you're ranged. But it almost feels like a Skadi now if you're melee. All right. Shadow Amulet, 100 gold cheaper. Okay. Silver Edge now requires Shadow Blade and Ultimate Orb instead of Shadow Blade Sanction. Can be disassembled. So basically it got a lot cheaper, and previously it provided 16 strength, 32 damage, 30 attack speed, and now it provides 30 damage, 30 attack speed, and 15 to all stats. So basically it's based off of its main components. Backstab damage reduced, increased. Oh, backstab damage reduction increased from 40 to 50%. Alright. But it's still the same item there. I think the big thing to take away from this change is that you can get your Silver Edge on a hero very, very quickly. So you have this tactical option of just completely screwing up Bristleback, for instance, like completely removing that passive. You can do that sooner into the game now. So yeah, obviously just a big nerf to Huskar, Bristleback, whoever likes to do weird things with their passives. It's a lot cheap. It's a lot earlier you can get it. It really is. It's good. It's good. Smoke of Deceit, stock replenish time reduced from 12 to 11 minutes. No longer has a cooldown attached to your hero when used. Ah, okay. So more smokes in Dota basically, and you can smoke twice in succession if you want to, and the other team doesn't have to keep track of, oh, they just smoked, so they can't smoke for a little while because there's some cooldown. There's no cooldown on the hero any longer. That must be what it means. So it's a little more, yeah. So you can be sneaky, smoke, and then be like, oh, alright, we failed, and then they fake back, oh, we smoke again, and then they go. Pretty much what it means, I guess. And then the other guys can outsmart you and like do that silly, I'm gonna cheat and try the map if there's people over here. I don't like that mechanic. It seems so wrong. Why would you do that? You almost have to be afraid when you're smoking now, because if the other guy figures out where you are, they can just set up a big trap because of that freaking thing. Talisman of Evasion. No, wait a minute. Soul Booster no longer provides HP regeneration. Mana regeneration reduced from 100 to 50. Well, there was no changes to Bloodstone, was there? I don't think so. I think Bloodstone only got buffed. So oh yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. So it's only the Soul Booster that's got nerfed. The Bloodstone itself got buffed with a few charges. So it's again more aimed directly at the Octarine core, which has some similar nerfs. So, oh my goodness, Town Pwn Scroll is only 50 gold. Suicide jungling, here we come. This is awesome. This is really awesome. There's no reason to not just suicide in the jungle and TP back to the jungle now. That use just 50 gold is so much better than running back and forth. Or even struggling. I mean, if you're in any problem in the jungle now, you just freaking suicide and you TP back to the jungle. That's how it is. But I feel like that was almost the case before as well. At least in some heroes. The heroes that really are struggling can make use of this tactic. I think it's very good, and I think people should realize it. It's really, you can really cheat. All right, HP regeneration increased from 6 to 8. Vanguard, fine. Veil of Discord now requires Helmfire and Will, 2 Null Talisman, and a 400 recipe. Yeah. They keep changing this freaking item. I'm not gonna go too much into depth with this. Is it a buff or is it a nerf? I think it looks like a nerf, doesn't it? It was too good before, and now it's less intelligence. Alright. Vladimir's Offering nerfed because of the Basilius nerf. So I think I was gonna do this pretty quickly, but now it seems like I am only at the heroes and we are... I don't know how long I've been talking, a freaking hour or something? Curse of Avernus slow increased from 5 to 8 on level 1, so it's a buff on the early levels. And jungling is not that big of a difference, not really. It's actually no difference. So, Ancient Apparition, Cold Feet reduced from they keep buffing Cold Feet, do they? Yeah, cooldown reduced and Cold Feet damage timing changed from... Oh yeah, so it's buffs to Cold Feet. It's you can't have a patch without buffing some weird things on Ancient Apparition. Arc Warding. In the surface of time, I think we're just gonna go past this Arc Warding. That's just too much. Holy shit. So, Axe counter Helix damage type from physical to pure. And counter Helix damage reduced from a little bit per level. But I think that the fact that it's pure damage, even for jungling, means that this is... Alright, maybe it's a little weaker on jungle creeps, but it's definitely better late on heroes. You can just go past any armor they might have. It might be a slight nerf to jungling. I'm not sure, actually. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. But it's definitely... It makes you more of a threat later in the game. Usually Axe falls off, but now it's pure damage. So now you can just spin in the late game and you don't care if people got curious or anything, you just spin. Alright. Bane Enfeeble Mana reduced from... Reduced? Oh yeah. Yeah, so Enfeeble buff, fine. Call of the Wild Hawk's Day Vision reduced. Call of the Wild Night Vision reduced. So he got the axe, so to speak. I think it is a big deal. It's like 600 reduction of vision during daytime, the last level, and 300 on nighttime. I think that is a big deal. That is pretty much the reason you pick Beastmaster in pro games, isn't it? That you can have that massive vision advantage, but now you can't do that anymore. Well, it's a lot though. It's a lot of a nerf. Like, One of the worst nerfs that ever happened to Bat Rider was the night vision nerf, and it seems similar. But then again, we still see Bat Rider, so what the hell. Beastmaster is still gonna be here. Added Scepter to Bloodseeker. Granted 2 charges of Rupture. Ah, so it's like the Shadow Demon thing. Rupture cast point improved. And Strength growth improved. So, yeah, there we go. It still doesn't change the hero, he's still terrible, isn't he? But he can farm a really fast Scepter in the jungle. Still not great in the meta. I mean, it's only great because you can farm so freaking fast in the jungle. That's the only reason, but yeah. He loses his lane more often than not, and yeah, you should jungle him. If you pick Bloodseeker, you should jungle him. Bounty Hunter, Shadow Walk increased. That is, I think, I'm inclined to say huge, because when you're roaming a Bounty Hunter, you are very careful about your mana pool. And you really don't want to run out of mana, because then your momentum is completely slowed down. So these extra 15 mana, every time you Shadow Walk, you can't really... Now you actually have to be careful. You can't just scout everything. You have to actually think where you're going. I think this nerf to Bounty Hunter is a little bigger than it seems, because it's such a delicate balance when you're roaming a Bounty Hunter. So, I guess basically you need to carry more clarities. I don't think one is enough now. You need more. Brewmaster replaced Earth Buildings with Pulverized with Demolish. What the hell is the difference? Okay, it deals damage to buildings. Cool. And then we have some damage types. I'm not gonna go into that. Primal Spirit attack, damage reduced. This seems like a pretty big nerf, isn't it? So the earth attack damage is reduced a lot, and the storm fire is reduced a lot, and the fire is rescaled a little, so it gets a little bit more damage, but it's not really a lot. Maybe this has something to do with the shifting of damage types. I don't have any clue what that means. Well, to be honest. What's the benefits? Attack type changes. Well, yeah. Bristleback. Damage threshold reduced from 230 to 210. That's above. Goo range increased from 600 to 700. That's above. And it's you can get Scepter, and the goo is gonna like goo everything. But then again, we just have this Silver Edge just getting a freaking 1,000 gold cheaper. So I think overall it's this patch is a nerf to Bristleback just because of that freaking Silver Edge. It's just such a big deal. So Centaur. Double edge cooldown reduced from 8 to 6. And Stampede duration increased, so buffs to Centaur. And there's a hard buff, it's also good for him, if you want to go hard, I guess. Well, the Hood of Defiance buff is viable on Centaur, isn't it? Because normally you would get the pipe on him, along with some other utility items. Hand of Gauss no longer fully heals his creeps on Chen. Oh no! So you can't just YOLO in with all your ancients and expect them to live because of your Hand of God. Wow. So yeah, that's basically what it is, isn't it? You just took a bunch of ancients, you like parked them everywhere, and then you like the biggest troll ever, you just wait until they have almost no HP, and the other guy, oh my goodness, I'm gonna kill this creep and get all the gold, and then boom, full HP. And then he's sad. He can't do that anymore. So, nerf to Chen. Yeah. I think the nerf to Chen is quite big actually. It's it was really annoying that you could just, but I guess you could still call them back though. But it still makes a difference when you're doing all that split push shenanigans. Clockwork. Battery assault damage increased. Nice. Minor cleanup to power cogs, push back distance. So it has some more pretty numbers. That's what it means. Alright. Crystal Maiden. It always happens in the patch. There's always these odd numbers that makes no sense, and then they figure out, alright, this actually doesn't look very nice. Let's clean it up for no reason. Crystal Maiden. Nova. Cooldown reduced from 12 to 9. And Arcane Aura. Level 4 self-regen. Increased from 6 to 8. That is massive, but it doesn't really matter because it's only on level 4, and by that time, it's, well, you're a support, you don't really care. It's not anything you use for jungling, so the level 4, it's nice. It's just for the fun of it, I guess. It's not really that much of a big difference. I think the cooldown reduction on Crystal Nova is a bigger deal. Poison Touch range increased from 600 to 750 on Poison Touch. So that also keeps getting a better range. I think it's a good spell. So, Spirit Siphon, way too good. Let's see what happened. No longer grants vision. Damage type from pure to magical and no longer goes through spell immunity. Right? And it will just nerfs all around to the Spirit Siphon. And it was needed, wasn't it? It was frustrating to play against. And also her base strength reduced by 1. It's not... Doesn't matter. Kinetic Field. Bigger range. It's good. Dragon Knight. Breathe Fire. Attack damage reduced. Increased from 20 up to 35. So it's 35 on level 1. So they're still trying to make DK into this epic laner like he once was, but he's just outmatched in most cases. Breathe Fire cooldown rescaled. I don't know what the reasoning for that is. Base damage increased by 4, yeah. They're trying to make him a mid laner. They're really trying. Ghost cast point improved. That's good. That's really good for Draw Ranger. Yeah, again, it's easier to just move people that's trying to get too close to you. Either with this or with the new item, can't remember what it's called. Earth Spirit, Boulder Smash knockback speed reduced from 1200 to 900. Base movement speed reduced from 305 to 295. Base speed, okay. Fine. So yeah, obviously a bit of nerfs to Earth Spirit. So Shaker, reworked Scepter on Shaker. Enchant Totem becomes 900 range ground target ability. Causes you to jump in the air and land on the target spot, casted Enchant Totem. Wow. Really? Self-casting the ability will make it behave in the original form without jumping. Oh my goodness. So this is like Sand King all over again. You can do all kinds of crazy shit with your normal spells, but your ulti is not gonna get better. Oh, but what? Does that mean you should get Scepter instead of Blink Dagger? Nah. It can't be that. I think it means that you can get out of dodge, right? Is that what it means? You can like blink in, do all your shit, and then you just, like a troll, you could just jump out of there again. Wow, I have to see this. I have to see what this does. Well, I want to say buff, right? Because you're a stunner, you need mobility. It's like Sand King. It's not really about the damage of the ulti. It's yeah. So buff to Shaker. You didn't really use the old Scepter for that extra echo. Alright. Speaking of echo stomp damage increased. So buff to Elder Titan. Yeah. I still do not like the hero. So, impetus damage reduced, thank you. From a little bit each level. Not a lot, actually. Impetus max distance reduced. So there we go. That is the big nerf, isn't it? Okay, so yeah. So it's definitely a very big nerf. You can't just cheat with these one shot does a lot of damage tactics anymore, and especially with the new item. That would be terrible if you could still do that from 2500 range. So this is a big nerf to Enchantress. She really got hit hard. I really think so. Fixed demonic conversion, not working on Beastmaster, Spore, and Hawk. Well, yeah, okay. Yeah. Roshan before creeps? Question mark? Nah. Faceless Void, Time Walk, cast range increased by 50. So Time Walk is better. No, wait a minute. Yeah, cast range. Yeah. So, yeah, it's slightly better. I shouldn't go so much into detail with all of this. Time, titillation, cooldown, increased. Alright. Time distillation slow rescaled to 8. So it's worse to begin with, it's better later on. Time lock no longer deals double damage inside Chrono. Oh, really? Time lock damage increased. Well, on the other hand. Scepter no longer increases Chronosphere's duration. Okay. Huh. Then what does a scepter do? Is it only the cooldown reduction? Am I remembering this wrong? Is it only for the reduction of the cooldown? Can that be right? Or does it do something else? A scepter and what? Well, Gyrocopter reworked scepter. Adds a side gunner, fires an attack automatically at a random enemy unit within 600 AoE every 1.4 seconds. Firing, same rules as Rocket Barrage, but does not attack while invisible units and is disabled by break. Okay. So I think this is based off of your own damage, isn't it? It must be, otherwise it would be terrible. So you can do more damage to one target. I mean, late game you have another source of damage on one target. I guess that's what it means. So Gyrocopter is always this carry that's known for not really single target, but does a little bit of, well, does a lot of damage to a lot of people, and now you actually have some single target capabilities later on. So that's nice. Berserker's Blood better be buffed. Let's see. Max attack speed increased to 304. Yeah, that is a buff. But like with Bristleback, it's fine that they are buffing Huskar and Bristleback. But there's the thing called called Silver Edge that just screws them over completely. So, yeah. Invoker, whoops. Spills cast point increased. A little bit. I wonder if the people could be a little bit too fast on all their shit. So, but it's almost nothing, is it? Is it because was there something you could abuse? I'm not an Invoker player. And Cold Snap is now dispellable, like we saw with the Diffusal Blade. Ghost Walk with cooldown increased from 35 to 45. Tornado Vision reduced from 600 to 200. Okay. Forge Spirit's health mana changed from extra quas based on quas extra based. Base intelligence reduced from 22 to 16. That's a biggie. Base damage increased accordingly to remain the same. Okay, well. So they don't want him to cast that many spells on lane, I guess. Macropyre distance increased from 900 to 1400. Macropyre is no longer a unit targetable. No, it's just a big fat AoE. Why would it be unit targetable? Was it? Why would you ever throw it at a unit? You throw it like on the ground or ahead of a unit. Macropyre set duration increased from 20 to 30 seconds. Yeah. They should make it a whole minute. Come on, let's kill 2 creep waves with 1 ulti. Healing Ward now follows Juggernaut by default. Alright. Movement speed buff to Keeper of the Light by 20. Oh, is he the fastest hero now? 35? I think he might be. I don't know who should be faster. Lunar Enchantress, they don't have 35. I don't think so. Alright. Well, there you go. Conquer Tyrant damage is now dealt evenly over 8 ticks. Previously, how the damage was dealt at the start, they'll have to deal evenly over 10 ticks. So why? I don't know. Torrent's stun duration increased from a little bit to make even numbers because they are prettier. Mana cost is reduced by a little bit on the early levels and later on it's the same. Base armor increased by 2. I think the Scepter on Conquer is freaking legit. That bird that just hits everyone and you can't do anything about it, that's a really good skill. So maybe we are gonna see him. These changes doesn't do that much of a difference. So if the Scepter couldn't bring him back, I'm pretty sure this is not gonna bring him back. Duel no longer ignores disarm and ethereal states on either target. Dual set duration increased. They should bring it back so there was like Scepter duel would be forever. It was cool. I like that change, but it made for some weird situations, so they didn't do it. But at least this is a point in the right direction. At least when it comes to the Scepter duration. Duel no longer ignores disarm and ethereal. That is a big nerf though. That's not good. And you almost never get Scepter anyway, so. Frost Blast, Chain Frost slows are now independent debuffs. Chain Frost no longer jumps to zombies. Lifestealer Infest can now target Ancients with level 2 and level 3. Before you could do it on level 1, right? Strength growth increased a lot. Yeah, you could do it on level 1 before because you could just go there. Is that because of the jungling aspect or because of that thing where you just, I don't know, get your boots of speed and become level 6 and just infest Ancients and just run at people? and you can't do anything because you can't really kill an ancient that early in the game, I think it's more likely that. It's just really frustrating. And it also makes a difference when you're jungling him, obviously, because when you hit level 6 and could just instantly kill all the ancients, that was fun. Not that you would gank with the ancient creep, but still. Spirit Bear and Tangle now uses pseudo-random again, more pseudo-random distribution. Fine. Battlecry damage reduced, so a little bit of a nerf to Lone Druid. He did get a huge buff in the last patch, if I remember correctly, so I think it's fine. Agility growth increased by a lot on Luna. 0.5 per level. Pretty good. No, wait a minute. Yo, growth, yeah, that per level. Magnus, base HP regeneration increased from 0 base HP regeneration. I don't think it matters. Base damage, that matters a little bit, but mainly you just play him in the mid lane and you just bottle crow and you use your shockwave to get most of the last hits anyway, so that doesn't matter that much, but it's a nice buff. It's fine. Stone Gaze damage amplification increased from 30, 40, 50 to 50. Stone Gaze duration rescaled from 6 to 5, 6, 7. Stone Gaze slow reduced a lot, actually. But it also is 7 seconds on the last level. It seems balanced. It's not really better or worse. It just seems different. So Meepo base damage increased by 4. Scepter to Mirana. Passively triggers Starstorm every 8 seconds. Really? If there are no units in effect, the spell waits until they're nearby the units, so you can't just it won't just trigger on nothing. Does not trigger if the enemy does not see you. Passive procs are disabled by break. Okay. So you won't be killed by a chicken that just comes at you with Starstorm. That's weird though. It's really weird. Can you still use your Starstorm? It's like a double Starstorm? Because otherwise I don't think it's very good, is it? But that would be a lot of burst damage though, wouldn't it? If you time the thing and your own Starstorm, then it's all of a sudden a lot of magic damage Mirana can do. But I kinda hope it works like that. I don't think it's not worth it if it's only every 8 seconds. Replicate damage dealt increased by 30%, okay. Hybrid cooldown reduced. Oh no, I hate these support like morphlings that just does all their stuff with the ulti replicate. It's frustrating. Mirror image illusions damage increased by a little bit. Song of the Siren, Scepter regeneration increased by 8 to 10. Song of the Siren now affects units like Golem. So the last one is like a good counter to Warlock is just to save the sleep and then you sleep everybody and kill the golems. You can't do that anymore. So I think it's bad. It was kind of good that you could just deal with the golem right off the bat, just like you can deal with a tombstone, or you can use the song to kill some of these key targets in a fight. You can't do that anymore. So I think this is actually bad for Naga Siren. And yeah, the illusions got buffed, but they also got nerfed heavily with the diffusal blade. But I guess for farming purposes, it's still actually fine, because you don't use the mana burn that much to farm creeps. It's mostly just to annoy heroes, so maybe it is a bit of a buff on the illusions. Treant's bounty increased 4 gold. Which means that you should really be careful when you're getting a scepter now. Well, you should be 4 as well. Treant's vision reduced by a lot. Necrophile's Reaper Sight respawn time penalty reduced from 30 to 10, 20, 30. Okay. Reaper Sight damage factor increased from 0.4 to 0.6 on level 1. So on level 1 you're a lot more dangerous. You basically have a level 2 ulti on level 1. And that's a big deal because it was very difficult to actually kill something with the Reaper Sight before. You almost had to just run at people, do your death pulse, and then just keep running at people and then do another death pulse, because your death pulse at that point of the game dealt more damage than the freaking Reaper. So this change definitely changes that. Now you definitely can make some kills on level 1 without having to just last hit the last 100 HP on the hero or something. Nyx Assassin fixed. Spike Carapace not preventing damage when a spell immune attacker damages you. Not preventing damage. Oh yeah, I see. Okay, well, yeah, it fixed, obviously. Base HP regeneration increased even more. He got a nice base armor and 3.5 base regen. That's a lot. Omni Knight Degenerer no longer pierces spell immunity. Right. Why did he get nerfed, actually? Do we see Omni Knight being such a big problem? Added Scepter to Oracle, oh dear god. Reduce Purifying Flames cooldown to 2.25 seconds to 1 second and lowest cast point a lot. Oh no, so you can just... You have this guy that just keeps flaming people for healing or for damage, and he's gonna be on freaking steroids. Like, you're gonna be seriously stressed if you play this hero now with Scepter. So, OD, Arcane Orb Intelligence Steal reduced. Okay, so nerf to OD. Arcane Orb Mana Cost increased, also good. Astral Imprisonment cast range reduced. Alright, so he got the hammer for sure. He was a pain to play against though, but still, it seems like a bit much. Stifling Dagger now does real physical attack for 60. Of your attack damage. All attack effects works on and behave as if your hero performed them. Yeah. Phantom Assassin turn rate increased, and well, it's sort of a big deal if you are trying to... I don't know what the issue was. Is it too easy to just blink away to your allies when you're... Or is it for when you're attacking? I don't know. Phoenix Supernova Scepter now also increases the number of attacks needed to destroy the supernova. 7, 10, 13, dear god. Puck increased illusionary orb speed by 1. Fine. Pugna Netherward now treats illusions as creeps for hit count calculation. Well, it might be because it's 4 in the morning, but this makes no sense to me. I'll just move on. Static Link breaks distance increased by 100, so buff to Razor. Ricky added to Captain's mode. Blink strike damage increased to 120. Tricks of the Trade cast point improved. Tricks of the Trade's cooldown reduced. Fine. I think that's okay. Rubik Fate Bolt damage increased to 300. That's pretty good. Null field increased, turn rate increased, so buffs to Rupik. Is he so much out of the meta? Or is it simply because that every single ulti in the game is getting less good because everybody's Scepter does some random stuff on base abilities, and that's a trend? So Rupik can't really, I don't know. Sandstorm max channel time rescaled from 20 to 50. Hey, wait a minute. Okay. That is a huge buff to Sand King, especially for jungling. Now you can Sandstorm on level 1 and actually kill the camp. You will still have some issues with damage. You still need to get to level 3, but now you have an option. If you get like a Centaur, not the Centaur, the Satyr camp on the medium camp with the 2 blue Satyrs and the 2 little Satyrs that purchase you, that you can just kill that on level 1 flat out just by sandstorming for some time. That's pretty good. Sand King jungle, that's definitely gonna be easier now. Shadow Demon disruption. I mean, you can stack the, or at least have the other support stack the easy camp a couple of times, and then you can come in and just do that, and that's basically a level 3. If you take one camp of the medium camps like say Andaya, and then while you're doing that, then the other support or your carry have sacked the easy camp, then that's pretty much what you need to get your level 3. It's not bad. Shadow Demon disruption illusion damage increased. Disruption illusion damage increased. So it seems like all the illusions are getting more damage for some reason. Soul Catcher cooldown reduced. Also good. If you have a Scepter, you'll get even more Soul Catchers. Shadow Flame requirement souls damage line travels distance rescale to. Okay, so we just have some weird changes to Requiem of Souls. Scepter now also increases Necromastery max souls from 15. Really? Okay. So that obviously makes your Scepter do even more damage, and yourself, you can get more souls, so you can do more right click damage. So Scepter is not completely terrible in Shadow Fiend now. That's nice. Shadow Shaman. Mars Serpent Ward's splash mechanics reworked. Now splash 75% in 175 AoE. Previously it splashed some really weird things. Alright, well. Silencer. Last word no longer slows. Arcane Curse base duration reduced. Arcane Curse now slows movement speed from 9 to 18%. Arcane Curse cooldown increased from 18 to 20. Glyphs of Wisdom damage rescaled from 30 to 35. So it seems like it's okay, and then it goes down to 80 on the last one. So basically nerfs to silence all around. Scarroth Mage Mystic Flare Scepter duration increased from 2.4 to 12 seconds. Same damage per second. Mystic Flare Scepter duration increased from 2.4 to 12. I am reading this correctly. 12 seconds? I mean, nobody's gonna just stand there for 12 seconds, but seriously? 12 seconds? You can throw multiple Mystic Flares now, right? What is the cooldown? Cooldown is, okay, so it's not 0 cooldown anymore. It's 5 cooldown with the Scepter on the last level. So I don't think that's a good thing. I would rather have 2 Mystic Flares on the same target for like 1 second than this one with a 5-second cooldown. Like, I I guess it's gonna look cool. It's gonna look cool. You have these blue things of light and damage everywhere, but then you will need a team that can actually keep them in place for that long. I mean, 12 seconds, that's a long time to... If you can stun somebody for 12 seconds, he's dead no matter what. I mean, I think it's a nerf. I think it's fun. It's gonna be great, but I think it's a nerf because the zero cooldown on the scepter in the last level, that was better than this, honestly. Well, sniper shrapnel damage increased. I think shrapnel is pretty good as it is. I think it didn't get nerfed at some point, and now it's getting buffed again. Spectral dagger, slow, no longer goes through spell immunity. So this seems to be a theme. Its patch path can still follow spell immune heroes. Okay, but it seems to be a theme in this patch that spell immunity needs to be better. Yeah, there were too many things that could just cheat spell immunity. So BKBs become better and stuff like that. Haunt cooldown increased from 120 to... Okay, so nerf to Haunt cooldown. Haunt illusions are no longer unstunnable. Alright. Agility growth reduced, so nerfs to Spectre. Added Scepter to Storm Spirit. Really? Causes Electric Vortex to be a 475 AoE ability around your hero. Requires vision over the unit to affect them. So you can't just... You need to actually... That is weird. So you can drag people in AoE now. You can, if you have a Darkseer vacuum, you can just go in there and drag everybody. Is that it? I mean, it seemed fun, but is it really worth a scepter? I guess Storm Spirit, you can always use a scepter. You can always use more stats, but really, is it even gonna be good? $475 AoE. So does that mean that you can also pull people a longer distance than you could before? Because the AoE is bigger? Or is it only accounting for how far away the target actually AoEs other people so they get caught in the vortex? Huh. Well, I don't know. If it's a bigger range, it's almost like a mini vacuum, isn't it? You can drag people onto cliffs, can you? Or is it just a normal vortex and you could just drag more people at once? Who would stack up that much? It's only 475 AoE, like in a team fight, who would stack that much? You would need like a Darkseer or a Nightmare or a really stupid opponent team. I mean, Storm Spirit is still out of the meta. I don't see this like any good, and it's definitely not gonna bring him back. Sven base movement speed reduced from 295 to 290. Okay. Terrorblade base armor increased by 3. You kidding me? Base armor increased by 3 Terrorblade. Yeah. Wow. This one, I actually had a mate telling me about this one, and the first thing he said to me was, dude, you have to do Terrorblade jungling now. And yeah, I think I have to do Terrorblade jungling now. This is he had so much base, I can't remember how much, but he was already able to tank like a boss before, and now he gets another 3 base armor. I know he's not being played, but this is crazy. How much base armor? Is he the guy with the most base armor now? That's sick. And yeah, I think he can jungle now. I think it's gonna be... I don't know how fast, but... It's not gonna be bad. It's not gonna be bad. Timbersaw Whirling Death debuff duration increased from 11 to 14 seconds. Reactive armor regen and armor per stack increased from 1 to 1.6 on the last level per stack. Reactive armor regen and armor per stack. So this is buffs. Whirling Death debuff duration. Yeah, this is definitely buffs. Okay. Huh. Tinker. Ooh, Tinker. Rearm. Mana cost reduced from 125 to 100 on level 1. Yeah, well, reduced by 25 on all levels. Rearm can no longer refresh Pipe of Insight. Oh, I did not even think about that. Alright, so they were actually ahead of the of the abusers this time around. Because obviously if Pipe doesn't have a cooldown, you could just... Oh my goodness, that would have been fun though. That would have been fun. Base intelligence increased from 27 to 30. It's fine, it's not that big of a deal. But it's buffs to Tinker, he needs it. He's still mad at you for breaking his March of the Machines on Ancients and stuff. Train Protector, Nature's Guise Tree, Search Radius reduced a little bit. Nature's Guise Tree, Search Grace duration reduced a little bit. Nature's Guise Movement Speed increased from 10 to 20. Alright. Leech Seed cools. That is a lot of movement speed all of a sudden. You run around Invis with 20% extra movement speed. Pretty good. Leech Seed cooldown reduced from 16 to... Well, okay, that's the same. Leech Seed... But it's down to 7, yeah. Alright. Ranged Whirling Axe's cooldown reduced from 20 to 19 and down to 10 at the last level. Ranged Whirling Axe's cooldown. Okay. Fervor Max stacks increased from 6 to 7. I also have to do Troll Drunkling. This is getting ridiculous. Tusk Walrus Kick cooldown reduced from 12 to 8. Walrus Kick damage increased from 200 to 350. Oh, that's cute. So they nerfed him into the ground for 3 patches in a row, and now they're like, alright, we're gonna buff your ulti a little bit. It doesn't matter. It's all about his basic skills being so bad now. You could still draft Huskar because of his utility and the fact that you can save heroes later on. That's basically why, but his normal skill set is gotten so bad that I don't think this is gonna change that much. Walrus Kick damage. And it's only kick, right? It's only Scepter. It's not even... Yeah, because if this was his normal ulti, then it would actually be pretty good. But this is only for Scepter, and it doesn't matter. You're like off-lane Tuskar, you're roaming Tuskar. It's gonna be a while before you have Scepter, so all the other nerfs are still gonna mean a lot more than this buff. It doesn't matter. He's still out. Undying Tombstone now treats illusions as creeps for hit count calculation. Tombstone now treats illusions as creeps for hit count calculation. Huh. So you can just... Can a Lancer just instantly destroy the Tombstone now? Is that what that means? Tombstone now treats illusions as creeps. No, it's the opposite. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. So, yeah, it's a little bit harder to kill the Tombstone, so... Yeah. So that... As creeps... What did an illusion count for before it, if it wasn't creeps? What did it count? Surely it didn't count like a hero. I never seen a Lancer just one-hit a Tombstone with illusions. I don't know about that. It seems like a little bit of a bug fix or something. I'm not gonna dwell. Vengeful Spirit. Magic Missile stun rescaled from... it's worse than level 1. But it's better in the end. It doesn't matter. Vengeful Spirit, you want that good level 1 stun. That's basically why Vengeful is really good as a support in the early stages of the game, because that level 1 Magic Missile was really good. It still is, but it's a nerf. I think it is. I don't think it matters that much that it's a better buff in the end. It's only 0.5 seconds anyway. Poison attack is no longer an attack modifier. Okay. Go Viper. You can do crazy. You can do Desolator Viper and shit. Nice. Gravekeeper's Cloak recharge time reduced from 4 to 3 seconds. Gravekeeper's Cloak minimum damage threshold increased from 2 to 15. Stoneform stun delay reduced from 1 to 0.85. Minimum damage threshold increased from 2 to 15. What? Gravekeeper's minimum damage threshold. That seems like a huge deal. Minimum damage threshold from 2 to 15? Wow. Huh. Well, Warlock Shadow Word cast range increased from 500 to, a lot, 750. So it's easier to heal your golem, it's easier to heal your carry in the fights, I guess. Fatal Bonds cooldown reduced. Cooldown reduced. Oh, that's good. Fatal Bonds cooldown reduced down to 18 seconds. Flaming Fist damage changed from 40% chance to 80, 150, 150 to 100% chance to do less damage. But it's still good though, because it's more reliable. And I think it seems like the change about the pseudo-random thing, this is a little bit like the same for me. It's basically the same kind of damage, it's just more reliable. So it's not like getting really lucky. It's more like, well, but generally it's kind of a good thing, because it's easier to know exactly how much damage your golem is gonna do and stuff. But it's also a bad thing, because you can't get lucky and just kill a guy pretty soon after the golem, the rock falls down. Weaver Time-Lapse now disjoints projectiles. Good. Time-Lapse Scepter cooldown reduced. Fine. Weaver now loses unit control. Weaver now loses unit collision immediately when casting Shikushi, rather than after fading. A little bit of a difference for people who don't like to control the hero all the time or something. I don't understand that one. Winter Wyvern added Scepter. Oh dear god, what did you do? Yeah, of course it's not his ulti. Causes Arctic Burn to be a toggle and drains 40 mana per second. Activation mana cost is the same as the current. $120 down to 90. No longer has limit of number of attacks per target. Winter's Curse. Okay, so it also does something with the Winter's Curse. No, that's just another change. Okay. Winter's Curse cooldown reduced from 120 to 90. So Arctic Burn to be a toggle and drains 40 mana per second. Activation mana cost is the same as the current, but it drains mana. Is that the only thing it does? It just drains mana. It seems not good enough at all. 40 mana per second there. Okay, that could actually be stack up a little bit. So you get a scepter on this guy only so you can mana burn one guy a little bit. Gotta be something I'm missing here. Maybe it's that part about the toggling. It doesn't run out. You can control when it's on and off, I guess. That makes it better if that's the case. Okay. So you can control when it's on and off, and you can mana burn targets in the team. You can do more stuff in a team fight rather than just stand in the background and wait to press either R or whatever if you're using legacy key with the heal and stuff. Alright. Fine. I don't see it being that amazing, but maybe it is. It is one of the things you have to see it. And you have to see how much mana you can actually drain from people. But spending 4,000 gold only to be able to mana drain people slightly, that seems bad. But that toggle thing might make it worth it. I don't know. Wraith King, Mortal Strike now does critical hit for double the value when attacking non-heroes. Oh, really? Interesting. The crit is just terrible to begin with. But there's some jungle, a little bit of jungle buff right there. And he wasn't terrible already. And now he gets more mana. Not that it matters, but he gets... But his crit is more usable when jungling. It gotta be what that's for, isn't it? I mean, they feel bad for him, he's like single target, they want him to jungle faster. It makes more sense. It increases his jungling potential more in the mid game. Stop making noise. It increases his jungling potential more in the mid game than it does in the early game, but it's a little bit of a buff if you want to straight up jungle Wraith King from level 1, which you can do. And finally we have Zeus static field damage reduced, so more nerfs to Zeus. Are you kidding me? Static field damage reduced to 10%. Static field no longer disables blink dagger. Really? Thundergust Wrath damage reduced. Wow. Zeus just got the treatment that Storm Spirit got in the previous patch. They do not like heroes that are awesome in the mid lane. They do not like heroes that are awesome in the mid lane. If they are too awesome, they get the hammer. This is a huge nerf. So Zeus got nerfed a lot. The blink dagger thing is a big deal, and the ulti thing is alright. Maybe not that much of a big deal, but you cannot disable blink dagger anymore with static field. That is a big thing, but I guess it was fair. It's fair that it's like this. But static field damage reduced. So the biggest thing I take away from this is so the static field is worse, and the Aether Lens is worse, and also the Octarine Core is worse. So put those things together, and well, just the Aether Lens and the fact the static field is a little bit worse. I don't think you can actually abuse the Aether Lens to the point where you can just reliably farm whole creep waves, because you could, like, with 3 lightning bolts you just get the entire creep wave. You can't do that anymore. Oh, excuse me, of course I mean arc lightning. Chain lightning? Chain lightning. So, yeah. So big nerfs to Zeus. But anyway, the biggest deal for me is first of all, I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. This is ridiculous. The biggest deal for me is Basilius. I think it's not good. It's not good for junglers. It's a big deal. And also I want to say that the one in the beginning that you get 50 more mana. I have to read this again because if you start with more mana, that's a big deal. Where was that? That is a big deal for junglers if you start with 50 more mana. It's a big deal for some junglers. Hero base mana increased from 0 to 50. Mana per int is reduced from 13 to 12. Oh, there we have it. So somebody has to do math and figure out if that actually more or less mana you have to begin with, or if it evens out. I'm not sure. But I guess the flavor of the patch is this one. Intelligence now increases spell damage by 1% per 16 intelligence points. So okay, so there we go. That's actually maybe Zeus. Maybe this is the redeeming factor of Zeus. This change, because Zeus does a lot of spell damage. Maybe he can still abuse. Maybe he can still kill the creeps ways easily with this. But his intelligence pool is not that amazing to begin with. And you don't really get intelligence in Zeus, you get Octarine. Well, yeah, okay, maybe you could. Yeah. Okay, so maybe Zeus is not as much hurt as I thought he was just because of this change. So what other heroes could be good? Leshrac does a lot of magic damage. What others? Those are the two big ones coming to mind. Lina could come back a little. Nah, it doesn't really matter for Lina. So there's a lot of changes to the jungle I will have to look into, obviously with the map. That's in slightly different places and stuff, and I'm really curious if I get more or less mana to begin with. That is a game changer. Mana is so important on a few heroes when you're jungling to begin with. And that centaur change is huge. I think for some heroes it's better, and obviously, and for some heroes it's worse. Just something like an axe will have a lot of an easier time to deal with centaurs now in the jungle. I mean, I can't remember how much base armor a centaur got, but the fact that you actually have 3 targets that can proc your spin, that's a lot, because I've just been doing a lot of axe jungling and it's no fun to run into centaurs to begin with. It's terrible, but now you can actually, I think this is good for axe. I think this is really good for axe. And he can already jungle like an absolute beast. So maybe he's, it's almost unchanged, I guess, but it's more reliable because you're not completely screwed if you run into a lot of centaurs all the time. And the pure damage, well, I still have a feeling that the pure damage is better against heroes but worse against the jungle creeps, but I'm not really, that's how it feels. I think he does a little less damage to creeps, but then the centaur buff is maybe evens it out. But for other heroes like Enigma, how is Enigma going to deal with the freaking centaurs? If he gets centaurs in the very first camp now, maybe that's gonna be even more annoying than getting trolls, honestly. How is he gonna deal with that? He can't kill it in time and then stack the next camp? Okay, maybe he can. But that will be just in the nick of time, I guess. Yeah, those were the things that popped into mind, but I think there was a few other heroes I want to highlight when it comes to jungling. I'm just gonna go through it because I remember the items. I was very specifically looking at the items. It seems like the only change here to actually note is the Basilius. I think it was almost the same on some heroes, like for example Juggernaut, to get either the Basilius build up with the Stout Shield, or get the Stout Shield into a Poorman Shield. Now I think it's just strictly better to get the Poorman Shield if you want to go in that direction. Yeah, what else? In terms of items, not much. The courier is cheaper. Flying courier is fine. Oh yeah, the TP. That I want to say that again. The TP scroll is cheaper, and that is okay. Only 25 gold, but I'm running a lot of junglers at the moment that just suicide to the jungle, and it's amazing, and it gets obviously a little better now when it's only 25 gold less. Well, it's 50 gold. It's 25 gold less. So I think that would be the implementations for the jungle. You won't really get a ring of regen, ring of health when you're jungling. Not really. Yeah, so going through, so here we have axe again. So it's 100 counter helix damage and 90 pure damage. I think that's almost the same when it comes to jungle creeps early on. I think maybe I'll take the 90 pure damage. I'm not sure. I'll have to do math. It's not gonna be now. It's 4 in the morning, dude. All right. So yeah, anything else? Gen minor nerf, Bloodseeker minor buff, but nothing that really affects the jungle per se. Draw Ranger same. It's a fine little buff, but it doesn't really do anything for the jungle. The Enchantress got screwed a little bit because of all the neutrals having less mana to work with. That's basically because of Enchantress. Also a little bit Gen, I guess, but basically because Enchantress just likes to take over creeps and just completely ruin the other team's mid laner with all the lightning and the freaking Cedar Blast. But I think that's basically it. I think the patch is alright. It took me like forever, like seriously. But the patch is not gonna change that much. It seems fair. It seems like balance changes. These items though, I have no idea how these items are gonna play out. I don't think it's probably not a big deal breaker. It seems like this race where Huska is trying to get his BKB and the other guy is trying to get Silverage, it feels a little bit more in the Silverage favor now because it's 1,000 gold less for the Silverage and it's the same ability as far as I can see. This Mirana Scepter is completely YOLO. I don't think it's good, but let's see. I'm gonna try it. It's gonna be fun. I love playing Mirana, and this is. I guess it's good for farming, but would you really spend an entire scepter that's good for farming? I mean, you have to be able to use your Starfall together with this. It can't be just. You have to be able to do 2 Starfalls at once. Then it would be good. I don't know. And any other clear jungler I'm missing? Sand King, holy shit. Sand King is, I'm gonna check that out. How good he is on level 1. It depends on the creeps. He's gonna be still stacking, he's gonna be still doing the same thing, but you won't just run out of Sandstorm before you clear one of the first camps. That's a big thing. That 20-second Sandstorm channel time, that was painful. You needed to be level 3 and have to level 2 Sandstorm before you could actually jungle. Now maybe you can do it for level 1. I still think the damage is gonna be an issue, but maybe it's good enough. Yeah. Tinker. I'm gonna have to look at Tinker again in the new Radiant Jungle. That's for sure. It's also on my list. And Wraith King is the last one I want to point out. He was in that area. Like it's not amazing, but it's not bad. It's like if you get level 6 around 5 minutes, I think I had it on something along those lines where he was before, and I think that's pretty much where he is now. I don't think it's changing. It's pretty much the same. So Wraith King is pretty much legit. Level 6 between 5 and 6 minutes, I would think. Maybe faster. I don't think so. He's gonna be in that area. And Troll. Oh yeah, and Troll. Troll and Terrorblade for that matter. Those two could also see some jungle play now. It's gonna be... Yep. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. This took way longer than I thought it would. I hope it's been worth it. Yeah, I've gone through everything, and I think I've caught everything relating to the jungle, except for the terrain here. I don't know how that's gonna play out. I have to look at the new map. I have to try out the junglers in the new map to see if there's some small differences. But yeah, the patch looks fine. Nothing too spectacular. Nothing too crazy. Just a good overall balanced patch, I think so. So yeah. All right. Well, it's 4:30 here. So I better head off. But thanks for watching, and see you next time.